Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, however you are joining us. This is the I Speak Jeep podcast presented by SFJ4x4.com. My name is Neil with Simpson Family Jeeps in the balmy and tropical Conneaut, Ohio, situated along the Great Lake of Lake Erie. And I'm joined in Grandma's Couch Studio by these decorated, refined,
cold,
admirable men.
The studio's actually comfortable.
It's not too bad.
The studio's comfortable. The shop is comfortable if you go outside first.
Yeah, if you're outside and walk inside.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like sucking on an ice cube and then drinking a hot cup of coffee. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, my JT said it was 10 this morning, and the Dairy Queen said 7.
Huh. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. But who are you guys?
I am the maddest mad scientist, Scott Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Jeff Shermani.
The Italian Stallion, the producer. And today is special for a number of reasons. Not only because Joe O'Brien was first. Good morning, Joe. Followed by a lot of other great individuals who Jeffrey will read off shortly here. But it is MLK Jr. Day. And this is a really, really impactful day for me as a person, kind of encapsulating a lot of what I believe in society, that today should have depth and purpose regarding the kind of the peaceful and resilient pursuit of betterment for all of humanity. So I hope that that is an opportunity for you to reflect upon maybe that kind of conceptualization of it, and just kind of figure out what I always like MLK Jr. Day in the beginning of the year. Kind of piggybacks off of those New Year's resolutions to say how can I improve not just my own self as far as that New Year's resolution typically, but my community as well, pursuing further into the new year. So I hope that today you have an opportunity to give back in some capacity. Additionally, today is the presidential inauguration, and kind of as a kind of taking solace in the formality of democracy, we are going to be talking about presidential Jeep trivia, right? And
Yeah.
Jeffrey has prepared a game for us.
The winner gets titled Commander in Jeep.
Ooh, Commander in Jeep. So we'll be kind of playing with that concept as well today.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few questions that you guys will get right away, and a few trick questions that you may struggle with.
Well, I did not study, so we'll see how this goes.
Scott and I had a brief conversation after you told me the topic. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm talking to my parents now. Yeah, I have to admit, we had a brief conversation. Well, Jason Simcox I actually had a conversation with Jason, and as a purveyor of history, he needs to be in this room with us because he rattled off like boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Do you remember this famous picture and this person who had this happen and that? And I was like,
so
holy
I heard
cow,
he studied with me and Jason.
I had 2 independent study sessions, but it's so valuable for you to know that when I was a freshman in college, I was not doing so hot in a math class, and I signed up for a tutor mainly because she was hot, and that did not actually help me. So in that class, so just because I had the study sessions doesn't mean
Did it help your focus?
No.
I focused on something.
Yeah,
That's
all I'm asking.
It wasn't math. It
helped
wasn't
your
math.
focus. I didn't say it helped your math skills.
Oh, for certain. All right, but more important, folks, if you are anticipating the cold weather that is sweeping our nation at the moment, I am particularly proud of our cold weather beanies. Right now, you can get a series of 3 or 4 different color beanies on our merchandise site. And you can find that logging on first and foremost to SFJ4x4.com. But it is a insulated lined beanie cap, and recently we ran an online ad with this, and Jeffrey was our stand-in model, which you looked wonderful in, and
Thankfully, it was not as cold as it is today when I was modeling that.
That's true. But you looked cold. It looked authentic to me. You know?
It was cold out.
Your cheeks were a little rosy. Your nose had a little bit of red to it. You know, might as well have been Santa Claus. Yeah. But somebody took the opportunity, and thank you to that individual who took the opportunity to review it right on the post itself, and was like, "This is not a cheap, thin beanie." And I thought to myself, that's true. And the funny thing is, I've always kind of taken exception to businesses who sell merchandise that does not reflect to the overall quality or pursuit of their brand. Meaning, if you want me to believe that you are a quality provider of blah, and so whether that is Jeep parts and Jeep service and quality podcasts and doing a pursuit of doing things well, and then you sell me a piece of junk piece of merchandise, I understand that sometimes things happen, right? And a part can be just simply bad, or you can try a new product or whatever.
So I think that the Savage just put the link in the comments if you wanted to go check it out. However, I'm not sure if it was a Savage, because normally he does a short code. That is a very long link.
That is gobbledygook as far as I can tell, but it is in the comments. Those who are in there, and so ultimately, I'm very proud of the fact that I've always kind of stood by the fact that I don't want to sell anything that I myself would not want to consume. And so the same diligence that we put into choosing parts and processes for Jeep builds and selling retail parts, we also put into our merchandise itself. So you should head over and pick yourself up a beanie. We almost always do same day shipping in these regards, so long as it's an in-stock item. So there's a chance that you could actually be receiving this beanie in the middle of the cold snap, and you could warm
vortex.
up. You could warm up your nugget during the polar vortex.
Yes.
Additionally,
you talked about the quality of the material used. What you didn't talk about is how when we were looking at hoodies and T-shirts, you ordered in like every style of different brands,
right?
And we had this mass collection, and you're like, all right, well, how's this one feel? How's this one? Is this one gonna pull apart? Is this one gonna last? And like legit went through and found what you liked as a representative.
And I'll have to give a disclaimer, but the people that know me know this. I've been wearing SFJ merch forever, and I am about the whiniest comfort person there is. So if I can wear it and not whine constantly, then it's good stuff.
I once gave Scott a Dickies flight jacket, embroidered patch,
I tried
the
to be
whole
nice.
9 yards. I gave it to the guys for a Christmas present because, again, as you said, I'm a little obsessive. I want the representation. I mean, the representation of the product should be similar to the product, right? And that's not just the merchandise, but the product of us and what we provide to our customers and the community as a whole. And so I offered this gift to the guys, and Scott tried his best. I mean, it didn't last 15 minutes. He was like, I'm not going to wear it. I'm giving it to Amy. It doesn't.
And then forever, I was called a schmedium.
A schmedium. He is at that point in time.
I swam in it.
He chapped my butt, and yes, because he didn't like the fit. He didn't like the fit on him. So I did get you another jacket.
I did.
We did gift that one to your wife at that regard, because it was already done and paid for, and I gifted you another one because I want, again, like you said, I brought them all in. I want a good quality product, and that's what. This person responded that he bought a beanie at one of the shows, and I just thought, man, that's good. I like that somebody recognizes the attention to detail that we put into choosing merchandise. Now, if we give you a free shirt, I got to be honest, if it's just like a promo free shirt, it might be, one of those 18, one of the test shirts that we brought in. But if you're paying money to rep the brand, you're going to be getting a quality product that represents the brand as a whole. So head over there, pick yourself up a beanie. We are still taking orders on the seasonal hoodies. Now, get it. Granted, you got a zombie chasing a turkey, chasing a Christmas tree Jeep.
Still a warm hoodie.
Still a warm hoodie. Still a good quality warm hoodie. It's going to wash well, wear well. And honestly, once it's gone, it will be gone. You're never going to get that hoodie again. Just like our last year, 'tis the season to be wheeling hoodie. So
you know what else would be fun? Since we're supposed to have like cold temperatures, rightfully cold temperatures, all the way down to Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, that kind of stuff. If you order your merch and then you take pictures and let us know where you're from down there and actually legitimately need it,
right,
that would be kind of fun.
That would be fun. We'll rep you online, put you on social media campaign, and make sure we talk about you on the podcast. That would be very fun, actually. And if you're in Antarctica, because we are in 70 plus countries around the world, come on, we need the 7th continent, 7 slots, 7 continents. We need you.
Right. So just jumping in the comments, you did mention Joe said good morning first.
You got first.
Giaga Jeepers, good morning. Fred Modus, good morning. Scott L is saying good morning and definitely a flannel day.
Amen.
And then
every day's a flannel day.
My wife's on there saying the weather app says feels like -9.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning. Good morning. It was. You gotta be careful with your your bare skin outside right now is what I hear.
Yeah.
15 minutes, you got the authentic frostbite. So be conscientious of that, folks. I'm one that I don't really let the weather impede my approach to life. But maybe this is one that you take a little caution in your.
I'm appreciating my remote start today.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are.
So let's get into the topic at hand. Before we get to the game, I want to go through a couple fun facts, and then we'll talk about the game.
And the topic again is Commander in Jeep, right?
Commanders in Jeep, presidential ties to Jeep history.
Love it.
So this is we're going to talk about the Red Jeep campaigns. This is a politician that was nicknamed the Rebel in the Red Jeep because he was a Democrat but sported a red Jeep. Ken Heschler, he was a prominent West Virginian politician and activist known for his distinctive red Jeep, which became a symbol of his grassroots campaigning style. Now, to me, that's just a fun little tidbit. There was actually a politician that campaigned with that red Jeep.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we get to the trivia game, we're going to talk about Jeep's role in World War II because Jeep was instrumental in World War II. And then we're going to get into Jeep's contribution to automotive history over the decades. Because Jeep's been obviously an iconic part of American history, but it also influenced in the design of development of SUVs worldwide. And it's continuing to do that throughout and influence the designs of other vehicles.
Awesome. And if you are joining us in your ear holes, kind of after the moment, we really value that you have taken to, prioritizing listening to us, at this time where you're working on the line, driving across the country, rebuilding, remodeling, working in the garage, whatever it might be. And thank you for prioritizing that. For those of you who know, you can join us almost every Monday live at 10:19 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. We thank you for making that part of your morning. You can jump into the comments. You can share and talk and communicate. Check out links for our merchandise, as Jeffrey had said. As a friendly reminder, this is a non-political podcast. This is a podcast about Jeeps where you can just kind of chill out and know that we're going to be talking about Jeeps and their ownership and their influence kind of in a egalitarian manner. So whatever side of the aisle you find yourself on or the apathy that has washed over you, whatever it might be, this is just about Jeeps. So please try to refrain from any type of strong, entrenched political feelings. And
I just simply won't read those comments anyways. So.
There you go. So,
but part of that, and the reason that you bring that up is because Jeep did something unique to, Stellantis did something unique for them. They, first of all, took out a $7.5 billion loan, that's the U.S. government loan, to fund the construction of 2 lithium-ion battery factories, and that is part of building their EV production. But additionally, they just backed or donated to the inaugural fund, which is something that is out of character. They've not done that in the past. They didn't do it for Biden. They didn't do it for Trump's first election, as examples. But they are donating to Trump's inaugural celebration $1 million, along with several other well-known auto manufacturers, all kind of greasing that wheel for EV productions and allowing for that overseas production.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation as, again, fun fact, and you did ensure to kind of follow that rabbit hole of sorts on the news articles and the press releases to say that, a number of auto manufacturers recently took massive loans, right, federally backed loans, and then in turn donated that money back to the inauguration. So interesting. Price of admission is what I'd like to call that.
Very weird.
Very weird. And I had this conversation with a couple of people, and the fact that Stellantis did it for the first time ever. And I thought, well, when was Stellantis really conceptualized, right? I mean, so that was only 7, 8, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, maybe it's because Stellantis is as it's, maybe we can't technically say they've never donated to an inauguration fund before, right? But then you produced that Ford Motor Company has not done it in decades, basically, and they chose to do it this time.
They
around.
hadn't done it to the level they did this time.
I see.
So the increase was significant. General Motors was also one.
Right.
I think General Motors was one that hadn't donated the last couple.
Oh, okay. So
I
GM has
I
not
think
donated.
Ford
it.
had, but at minimal levels.
I'm constantly fascinated by the politicking of the big OE manufacturers and the manner in which they entangle themselves in how they are, how they do business, right? And the fact that we go back to the Great Recession of 07, 08, and GM flies in on their private jets. I don't think there's a U.S. citizen who felt warm and fuzzy about the fact that they went to their congressional hearing and flew in on their corporately owned jets, just in the fact that we're about to bail them out as a nation.
Shows slight disconnect.
Slight disconnect from the consumer who's trying to rebuild a 60s Camaro or a square body Chevy.
I feel like and I feel like after calling it out, someone would be like, "Ooh, yeah, maybe we should have like at least flown first class."
I mean, the fact that, fortunately, now, if you don't remember that story, maybe you weren't paying attention then, they did actually, after that, use their corporate lease, their privately owned corporate lease vehicles to then attend the follow-up congressional hearing. I like to think, so interestingly enough, my wife and I bought our 2008 flex fuel Chevy Impala in late 09. We signed the dotted line in 10, but it was January of 10 basically. And it had just under 20,000 miles on it. So basically it had just under 24 months of lifespan from when it came off the line to when we signed on the dotted line. We were technically the first owners, but it
hadn't got shut off.
Because it hadn't got shut off, but because it had never actually been titled outside of GM corporate. And so I like to think, and maybe this is the first time I'm ever sharing it with you guys, that our car was one of the cars because it was a higher trim package Impala, and that's largely what they showed up. They used SUVs and Impalas and something else to show up to those congressional hearings in 08 after the private jet debacle. I like to pretend that was actually one of the vehicles that transported them from.
Maybe, because at that point, I think Cadillacs would have been distasteful. So.
Oh, yeah, no. They showed up in the quote-unquote working man's vehicle. That was a big thing for them. Yeah, I remember this. I was like obsessed with the Great Recession of 07, 08. And so watching GM do this and then the bailouts that they received. And so long story short, I like to pretend that while I have no known history of this car, I know that it was in the corporate loaner program.
Maybe that's why Impalas got nicer after that. They're like,
so
wow.
Their execs had to ride back and forth to DC.
They're like, maybe we should improve this.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Well, long story short, on this donation that Stellantis, and that's really kind of one of the things that kind of opened our eyes to like, well, maybe we should play with the concepts of how politics and the automotive industry have in sorts positively or in general been connected together, intertwined, and so just the conversation about the price of admission by today's standards to ensure that each group is seen by each other. So I guess you get a $7.5 billion loan if you kick back $1 million to something.
Maybe
That's a cost of a ticket anymore.
Yeah. So, also in the comments, we got Roy saying good morning, Diana saying good morning, Gene saying good morning, hope you all stay warm today, and Daddy Jeep saying morning, guys.
Good morning. So
we're going to get into the game.
yes, we have clipboards here.
Well, you don't need those yet. That's for the lightning round.
Oh, okay.
At the end.
Okay, I will defer.
We're going to start off. You're going to each draw a card so we know who goes first. High card goes first.
Should I? I'm going to let you, ladies first. Here you go.
Aces are high, just so we have that out there.
All right.
I don't like my card.
What did you get?
Well, it can't be worse than mine. Well, I'm a 3 of spades. You're a 4. Are we playing spades? Is this just
Terrible shuffler.
That's a fresh deck.
Weird.
Terrible shuffler.
Weird. Okay, so I picked I made sure to pick from a different part of the deck than you did.
I was gonna say that was a good shuffle.
Whatever.
Just weird that you guys did that. So
okay.
All right. Scott gets the first question.
Well, here, give me your card back so it doesn't.
Each question is worth 2 points. If you get it wrong, the other can steal it for 1 point.
Okay.
All right. First question goes to Scott. Which president referred to Jeeps as one of the tools that helped win World War II?
He's dying over here. I kind of want to mess up on purpose now. Is this the
No,
No, take it.
Roosevelt,
Eh.
Eisenhower?
You can't guess twice.
Oh, come on.
I'm screwed. Is all I'm saying. I'm in the sense that like I had this again. My failed study session with Jason was the fact that like I really don't care that much about what these presidents had done, and I care about the Jeeps. And he was rattling. I mean, he knew a lot of.
I was
this
gonna
stuff,
say
and
he probably aced this.
he would, and I was like, I have no idea.
Well, you have a chance to steal the question from him. Do you know who it was?
I am gonna go with Truman.
No, it was Eisenhower.
I see. I wanted to do that, but then I'm like that kid in class. I'm like, I think it's Eisenhower.
All right. So, Neil, this question is yours.
Okay, nobody got that one.
Which president famously rode in a Jeep to inspect military installations during World War II?
Oh, literally the one that Jason and I talked about. That's it. That is literally the one that we talked about.
And you
He
don't
was like-
remember.
And he was like, there was a picture of this. It's a really famous picture.
Yep.
And so as president, it is actually Roosevelt.
Yes.
Ah,
2 points for Neil.
Yes. But it is not Teddy, for those of you who
No.
are confused that there are two Roosevelts in
there is.
American
They're
history.
cousins.
Yes, this is FDR.
Correct. All right, Scott.
Because, wait a second, he rattles off the fact that Eisenhower is a general at that
Yes.
point. And so at first, that was his fun fact for
Yes.
me, was that it can't be Eisenhower because Eisenhower is actually a general in
Correct.
that capacity, or some type of military
Which is
leadership.
why I got the first question wrong, because I was like, oh, it would be the president
That
during
is
World War
actually
II.
during World War II.
And then I got the door slammed in my face.
I know.
And then I was
you
like,
quickly-
I couldn't
oh,
even tell you
because
where
you knew the
Truman
answer.
falls on the line. I really wanted
Oh.
to. I don't even know where he falls in the line.
terrible.
Well, interesting. Scott, your next question. True or false? Harry S. Truman's presidency coincided with the launch of the first civilian Jeep, the CJ-2A.
See, I think that's true. But no, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's not even your question.
Oh,
It's Scott's
that
question.
doesn't matter.
Scott, what's your answer?
True.
It is true.
All right. See, I knew Truman was somewhere in there.
He's all worked up. He's got his beanie.
I'm sweating now, folks. I'm taking my beanie off. It's too
The
hot.
beanie got thrown down.
Oh my God! You're all seeing my long hair because I didn't go to the barber. That's it.
Okay, Neil, you get a
You're
true or
not
false
Grizzly
question as well.
Adams.
It's not long hair.
True or false? Jeeps were a featured part of John F. Kennedy's campaign for modernizing the military.
Do, 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 do.
True.
It is true.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of remember a little bit of something there.
So, which
Was he at a plant? Do you remember him being at a plant?
Mm-mm.
I was trying to remember what.
Sadly, the only thing I really remember about Kennedy is the whole riding in the Lincoln problem.
All right.
I remember a number of problems. I'm gonna.
And the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's about the only two things I remember.
Scott, your next question. Which president once commented that Jeeps represented American ingenuity and determination during wartime?
Are you gonna give him a list of presidents to choose from?
Right?
At this point in
should be
time,
multiple choice at
it
this
should be
point.
multiple choice.
I didn't want to make it too easy.
Wow.
Well, jeez. I feel like I need a cheater at this point.
I feel like somebody in the comments. We should have like a phone a friend opportunity.
Right?
Like we should have. Like who can reference it faster? All right, read the comment again because I have a chance to steal it, and I'm.
Which president once commented that Jeeps represented American ingenuity and determination during wartime?
Reagan?
No.
Sorry.
We'll bleep that out later.
I actually feel like this is a modern era president in the last 30 years. I think is a modern day president.
What's your guess?
And I am gonna Uncle Joe Biden.
No,
Ah,
it was Truman.
I'm not happy. I'm not.
Which president was in? This is Neil's question.
Yeah.
Which president was in office when Jeep became part of Chrysler in 1987?
Shoot.
I gave you all the clues.
I know. I understand. I have to give a crap about who the person was in the years. I was there, air quotes. Oh shoot. Okay. I didn't even need the year. I gotta figure out these darn presidents here.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but
So we're either Carter or George Senior, Bushy Senior. So oh God.
dude,
Jimmy Carter.
Nope.
No.
Oh.
Scott, your chance to steal.
Bush Senior.
No.
Really?
Reagan.
Oh, Reagan then.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. All right. So
See, we have to give a crap about actually who the
he must have been in the 90s then.
who.
Senior Bush.
So I thought that Clinton was 94.
Yeah, but
Right?
Bush Senior was right before him.
So
Right.
Bush Senior only did a term,
yeah.
Yep.
not 2 terms.
So-
So that puts him at 90. Then
So what-
Reagan was 86 to was 86 to 90 then. And
I
then
didn't
Jimmy
realize he was
Carter
that late.
was 82 to 86. I don't know. I mean, and God forbid. I mean, Jimmy Carter was just condolences to the family and all of that.
Wow.
Obviously, we didn't watch.
Wow.
Obviously, Scott and I did not watch any of the presidential pomp and circumstance regarding his funerals.
Man, he was such a great president. Too. Well, not even that he was necessarily a great president. He was such a good person in general. His
That's what I've heard.
humanitarian efforts.
Good humanitarian efforts. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna do a challenge round.
I'm sweating. I'm just getting hotter. I'm starting to keep stripping clothes off.
Draw a card to see who goes first in the challenge round.
Woo, okay. I'm drawing first, since I let you draw first before, and I got a crappy card regardless.
Go for
Oh.
the top card.
All right, I've got 10 of spades. I'm just pulling spades.
Four clubs.
Four clubs. At least you're consistent. That is the damn truth.
All right. So Neil goes first.
I'm highs or lows, and
Yeah.
Scott's just even keel. He's drawing his adrenaline. All right.
All right. So this challenge round questions are worth 4 points each.
I just want to pull more cards. See if Scott
That's
pulls
going to
like
be
the
a
four-
banger. If we could get the other ones, the 4-point questions are going to be great.
Oh,
I think you're actually gonna like these questions. So Neil, your question. So here's the fun fact.
So how many points
If you
do I get?
don't want to guess, if you know that you don't know the answer, you can pass, and it becomes Scott's question, and you get the other question.
Okay.
But there's no takesy backsies. So once you pass, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Which president owned a red 1962 Willys CJ6 Jeep and used it at his ranch in
This is
California?
not fair.
Reagan.
Is that your final guess?
Literally told him this on the phone.
Well, that doesn't count. The fact that's a known entity.
Okay. So Neil got it.
All right. Well, no, I'm saying that to Scott's defense, because now, I mean, that might have been part of our unofficial study session.
Sometimes you study and it helps you. Sometimes it
Well,
doesn't,
because
you're staring at the girl.
because
So
I don't even remember what her name was. No idea.
you remember other things, I'm sure.
I met my wife shortly thereafter, so it's all good. You know what I think? Funny thing is, he's known for. I'm taking the boots off because I'm sweating like a madman at this point. It might as well be out on a wheeling trip at this point. I'm going sans boots.
You're at the limit now.
Well, no, buddy. This is like strip trivia.
Oh boy.
Strip
This
trivia.
is for the late night episode. Anyways, so in the comments we got Leslie Ann saying morning and Bill McWilliams saying good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, Scott, are you ready? You don't get the pass because
So
you
wait,
lost.
read off that comment just for the trivia. It was a 62 CJ.
So 62 CJ6 Willys.
Mhm.
So Scott, which president had a Jeep specially modified to accommodate his physical need for traveling.
Man, thank God I got the high card.
Pretty sure it was Roosevelt because he was in a wheelchair.
because he was in a wheelchair.
He got it.
Wow. What kind of Jeep was it? Do we know?
Will be a World War II Jeep. Because that
You
was
think it was they modified the World War? Okay,
well, he
that
was
makes sense.
out before because Truman was in when the civilians came out. So
Yeah.
it would have had to been, and he had to go on front line as part of the war.
Yes.
That's like they literally had to.
Did you read what the modifications potentially were, Jeff, at all, or just said that he had it modified?
I just said that he had it
I'm
modified.
sure it had something to do with the dash and getting.
I wonder if
I'm sure if I
because
dug
if it was a
deeper, we could
passenger
probably
side,
find it. but-
Correct.
because it was passenger side. You know, remember how they had the ambulance style where they actually did the full cutout.
His Jeep still had the side, so I'm assuming it's something to do with the seat or the dash, giving him more room for his legs.
It was funny. I was given a quick one of our tours, and you guys do the internal tour so much better than I do at this point. But I was given a tour, and I came back to the 52 back here, and I'm so proud of the fact that you were able to take those seats and move them back a little over 3 inches, just a scooch over 3 inches, and nobody knows. You can't tell.
Yep.
Right. And what a remarkable modification that is, because it looks so factory. It looks so correct, period correct. And I was trying to explain the fact that it's like, you know, that's a big darn deal. And the person who's not exactly like a big Jeeper just thought our space was really cool and the projects were unique, was like, okay. And I was like, that's a really big deal. It's really done well, you know?
Yeah.
But so I wonder what that modification was. Somebody in the comments should look it up. Tell us what it was.
Yeah. Another card. We're going to go into round 2.
I picked first last time.
Yep.
Okay, your turn. What is it?
Ten of
10 of
hearts.
Ah,
What did I get? What did I get? Oh!
King of clubs. All right.
All right.
All right. So this goes.
You pulled the best card you pulled so far.
Right?
You did.
You did. But so did you.
Wow, that's true.
All right.
Law of averages.
Neil goes first.
Okay.
Which president's 1965 inaugural parade featured red, white, and blue Jeeps?
65? I don't know. Do you know?
maybe.
I'll pass to you. You can have it.
You don't get the pass.
Why? You said I got to
That
pass.
was the challenge round.
What is this then?
Round 2.
Oh,
So we're back to
we're
Regular
just back to
question.
being
2
SOL.
and 1 point.
Yes.
Oh, man, I have no idea. 65.
D, 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 D.
I don't know.
Okay. Did you want to steal?
Sure. Johnson.
It was.
Wow. Lyndon
better
B.
I'm better at this than I thought I
Lyndon
was.
B.
Okay.
I couldn't.
Kennedy was early 60s.
See, I didn't want to go Kennedy again.
And he was already out of the picture.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice way to put that.
Yeah, that was very appropriate. That was
Yeah.
eloquent. I would not have produced Johnson. I
Yeah.
mean, that makes sense. But again, this is. I told Jason. I don't know, months for a long time, and presidents. I just must have missed that part of elementary school because
There was another cute girl in
that
class.
was something. So that part was just. I don't know. I
She
got
was
nothing.
distracted.
My parents, and here's my defense, right? My parents raised me to
Your parents were
have,
teachers.
Yes, they were.
Was there a
true.
cute girl next door or something? They were just talking and you just staring out the
Now, in
window.
my parents' defense, in my parents' defense, my mom will to this day say, because I have got 2 old sisters, she goes, and people used to always say, boys are so much easier than girls. Girls are this, that, and the third. And my mom goes, if I would have had Neil first, I never would have had any other children. And if she would have had my sister, she would have had, they stopped at me for a reason. And so in their defense, that's their piece. And and they will also say we tried our best. Those are their two things. So let's give them a little bit of grace in this situation.
No, they get all the grace. They're phenomenal teachers with great reputations.
Yes.
We don't know what happened to you.
So, wow, I don't even. Okay, so, I'm sweating again. I'm gonna take it off for flannel. So they, in their defense, they raised us with the expectation that regardless who was in office, we had a generalized demeanor and respect for that presidential office, and we needed to just kind of buck up, regardless who it was, and have a relative understanding of the democratic process. Equally, that a president that puts their pants on, one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. And that was literally my parents lying to me. So we really didn't kind of prioritize like how special this person was. It was the office they hold is special. The theory of democracy is special, but the individual themselves. So I think I took that a little too much to heart.
Just ignored them at that point.
I just ignored the presidential lineup. I did have a friend in college who can name every president and vice president in history.
Vice president's impressive.
Impressive.
That is very
impressive, to say the least.
So, Scott, this question is yours. What was the total time given to Bantam to design and build the first Jeep prototype? We're looking for a number of days.
I'm going to say 28 days.
This was after the...
That was a movie, 28 Days Later. So, no, that's not correct.
180.
No, that's 180 Days Around the World. That's another movie.
Dude, now you got to tell us the answer.
Wow, we screwed that one.
49 days.
I knew it was...
I really thought Scott was going to get that
I
one.
knew it was short, but... I knew it was longer than a month, but I knew it was shorter than
I was guessing
6
a month,
months.
and then he said days, and I was like, now I'm second guessing myself, so now I'm going to go shorter.
Yeah, I wonder what the deal was with the 49 days. I know there's a Bantam historian, and I know that we've actually attended enough of those that there was...
We apologize for not paying attention.
That was close. He guessed 45 days.
Yeah, that was close. I don't exactly remember what the strict requirements were for the date of production, because that was after they were awarded. They were the only one who actually completed the task of building the prototype on time.
Yes. The other thing is, and Jeff, the last game we had, which we'll remember forever.
Yes.
He made us question everything about the inception.
I told Jason on the phone.
This is why you were studying.
No, I told Jason on the phone, it doesn't actually matter what Jason and I cover, because Jeff will come up with the worst possible answers that are irrelevant to anything we've ever known. All the questions and answers will make me look like an idiot.
Yes.
And at the end of the game, I'm screwed. And it will be what it is.
I'm just going to claim timeline shift or something, because he comes up with these facts. I'm like, that is not even possible.
It's not. I don't know, but there's what's the Mandela effect. Whatever.
Right.
The internet has created the Mandela effect.
So, this is back to Neil. What was the primary purpose of Jeeps during World War II? There is 3. Need to get at least 2 to be right.
Light duty reconnaissance.
Okay.
Minimum troop carrying. Or person carrying. Well, that's 2 out of 3, and those are the factual things that we.
Do you want? You got it right. So do you want to guess what the third thing was?
Third.
So the transporting, just so you know, it's troops and supplies. That counts as one transporting.
Right.
Reconnaissance.
Was then the light duty reconnaissance was the other federally mandated. Like these were the things that they were looking for.
Yep.
But you said there was
there's a third.
That the duty, right, not the requirement. Is that correct? Because the
primary purpose.
Would being a scout car count as reconnaissance?
Yes.
Yes. That's recon. So I light personnel, and so transport, reconnaissance, and utilitarian. The multi. I'll
give you a hint. It was for towing something.
Artillery?
Yeah. It's for towing artillery.
Towing that makes sense. That
Yeah.
that would not fall in recon. That would be that's would be different than transport because we're talking about in vehicle transport
See,
versus.
I thought it was be in transport, but that's okay. It's Jeff's rules. Everything goes.
It's relative.
Either way, you got it right. So.
Yes.
So
I do remember that part of the talk. I don't know. I love that stuff. So.
all right, Scott, which president used his Jeep for farming on his property in Missouri after his presidency?
Reagan.
No, that was California.
Mm.
Neil, would you like to steal that one?
For those
Bush.
listening, there was
No.
I was
deer
thinking
in the
Bush had
headlights look.
I thought Bush had a like a hunting camp or something.
No, that was Truman.
Oh,
All right.
I knew Truman had a Jeep. I thought Bush has a Jeep as well. Bush Senior.
So, well, we're not going to talk too much about other things because we have a lightning round that has a bunch of questions in it.
Okay.
But as far as current scores go, Neil is leading with 10 points. Scott got 7.
Now, if for those our listeners at home, I want you to know factually that if we were to go back and compile the majority of these games that have been created before, this is pretty much par for the course. I lead early in the game,
And then I throw the
and
curveball.
Scott just kind of consistently hangs in there, right? He's like that little yippy dog right behind you, just irritating the tar out of you,
Or a rash.
and then or a rash. And then Jeff comes in with the most obscure bull crap made up shenanigan stuff that Google somehow verifies.
And then Scott gets it all right
And
somehow.
Scott gets it all right. And I'm left holding the bag looking like an idiot. So just so you know how the
anybody's game.
just so you know for the last 15 minutes of the scheduled program, that's what it's going to be.
Oh, you
Don't
have
spit
no
your
idea.
coffee, Jeff.
You have no idea. So, you guys should each have a clipboard
Oh, now it's clipboard time.
And a pen.
and a pen. Scott, did you bring a pen?
I
Brought a
did.
pen.
We'll
did.
see if it works.
Okay. I do have a backup just in case.
Yay, it works.
All right. So, this is the lightning round. Each question is worth 1 point. You're going to write down your answers as I go through the questions, and then we'll grade at the end.
Oh, boy.
There is a bonus question at the bottom. I'm going to read that off. The bonus is worth 10 points. So it's anybody's game.
Whew. That's a big deal. That's the money ball. Money shot.
It is. All right. So, question 1. Which Jeep did Joe Biden drive on the White House lawn? Question 2. Who was the first president to ride in a Jeep while inspecting military installations during World War II?
Literally.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, we also know how well Neil studies, so there you wouldn't remember.
Spelling doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. No.
Question 3, which U.S. president owned a 62 Willys CJ6 and drove it at his California ranch? Question 4, which president's Jeep is on display at his presidential library? True or false? Barack Obama drove a Jeep Grand Cherokee during his visit to Kenya in 2006. Okay, question 6, true or false? Jeeps were a featured part of John F. Kennedy's campaign for modernizing the military. Question 7, which Jeep model was nicknamed the general purpose vehicle, leading to the term Jeep?
Wait a second. Wait a second. This is one of those moments where he's going to throw a technicality at us. I would like for you to repeat the conversation. Repeat the question, please.
Which Jeep model was nicknamed the general purpose vehicle, leading to the term Jeep? All right. Number 8. What year did Jeep become part of Chrysler? And for your bonus question, the big points. What was the original nickname given to the first Jeep prototypes developed by Bantam in 1940?
You know that one?
I don't know. We'll see.
Um,
Because there was 2. And it's Jeff, so who the heck knows? It's anybody's game.
so I know. So I'm trying to, I'm trying to think. There's one that's an acronym. And
I think he's trying to cheat now.
yeah, this is how I got do you remember how we talked about how I got through school?
Just put down your answer.
All right, fine. You know what the worst part is? I totally panicked on one of them, and I was like, "Oh my god, we literally talked about it on the program, and I've already gone in one ear and out the other."
Oh, geez.
So I think we should. I think we should have to exchange clipboards, so that I'm checking his and he's checking mine.
Sure.
Also,
I had thought about it, but I just also know your affinity for wanting to cheat. So,
teacher, I put my name on the top of the paper, which I remember was first and foremost the first way of getting a point.
Stop kissing the teacher's butt.
I also remember that many of the tests said you read all the instructions first, or else and it was putting your name on was a simple thing.
So this piece of paper has no name on it, so I'm not sure who it belongs to. So I think we have to throw it away.
Okay, so
Scott's is wrong first. Number 1 is wrong.
Nope.
what was number 1?
It's a 4xe
Jeep that Joe Biden drove on the lawn
Wrangler.
was a
4xe.
4xe.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was a JK. I thought it was older than that.
No, and so I actually put 4xe first, but then I wanted the absolute technicality
Geez.
to say that it was a Wrangler 4xe, not a Grand Cherokee or some other prototype vehicle.
Yep, you got that one.
Okay.
All right. Who was the first president to ride in a Jeep while inspecting military installations during World War II?
Roosevelt.
You both got it?
Yep.
Okay. Next one. Which U.S. president owned a 62 Willys CJ6 and often drove it around his California ranch?
Reagan.
Both got it?
Yep.
Which president's Jeep is on display at his presidential library?
Reagan.
Bushes.
Nope.
It's Reagan.
Special ordered CJ8 and blue.
See, this
that
is the
Nancy
part.
had restored.
That is the part that really, on my study session, I was like, I knew that he had the 6 because of my affinity for 6s.
The 6 got the crap kicked out of it and
Right.
used every day in the
But
farm.
I can picture the blue CJ8.
Yep.
And so, so that was very, like, I had cognitive dissonance. to
He
be
had
like,
a
man.
car and the CJ8 that were both restored, that are both on display. I don't remember what the car is.
Somebody out there in our comments has to look up whether or not Bush had a Jeep on one of his ranches in Texas or something. You didn't come across anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They're probably like
It doesn't mean it didn't exist, but I didn't come across it.
Yours is right. My bad. I screwed that one up. So
Don't worry. I've been scoring it.
Okay.
he's fact checking.
Yeah, he's fact checking me. Listen, there's no more fact checkers in social media. So
True or false, Barack Obama drove a Jeep Grand Cherokee during his visit to Kenya in 2006.
Scott put false. I put true.
It was true.
See, I thought it was a trick question because he had one in the U.S. Whatever.
True or false, Jeeps were a featured part of JFK's campaign for modernizing the military.
That was true. We literally had it in a.
Yep. Why did Scott put false for that?
I don't know why.
Because I thought that was Truman. You had said, not JFK.
Let's go back and look.
Let's roll back the tapes.
We're gonna
official review. We throw the replay flag.
True or false? Neil got it right. Was Kennedy for modernizing military?
That's fine. Whatever.
So
wait a second. What was that? Number 6?
Yeah.
All right. So that was true. That was Kennedy and modernization.
All right. So
Truman or Johnson, you got the Johnson one where he actually had him dressed up, parading them around. That was cool.
which Jeep model was nicknamed the general purpose vehicle, leading to the term Jeep?
So Scott put the Ford World War II GPW, and I put
MB.
It was the Willys MB.
I was surprised that you would put the GPW because
General purpose. Is
I know,
what the,
but you
generally
literally
what the Jeep,
owned this vehicle. You owned
But-
the vehicle.
but Ford's concept was a GP for general purpose.
That's technically true. I understand.
I'm
your
blaming Jeff.
technicality. Nope. We've all been there. We've literally had this conversation. You literally own the MB. The MBs hit the foreign markets.
That's just because I didn't want to own a Ford until I owned the Ford I currently own.
Oh my god. All right.
Anyways.
Nobody actually wants
What-
to own a Ford. Let's just be honest.
What year did Jeep become part of Chrysler?
87.
It was 87. And you both got that one right?
Yes.
Okay. So before we do the bonus question, what did you guys each get for scores? See if I tallied up correct.
Scott with the lightning round got 4 correct.
That's what I had.
Neil got them all right somehow.
So
Somehow he says.
all of them? I thought he got one.
I got
wrong.
one wrong.
Oh, Bush.
Bush.
Yeah,
Okay, so
number 4.
So Neil got 7. All right. And then so hold on. If we do that, Neil's at 17 and Scott is at 11. So Scott still could win with the last
Scott could pull ahead other than
just
the fact
barely.
that the fact that we actually have the same comment. We have the same.
Sort of.
What was the original nickname given to the first
It's not sort of. You literally have the same thing written as I
I
do.
tried to cover both models.
What was the original nickname given to the first Jeep prototypes developed by Bantam in 1940?
The BRC.
No.
That's what they called
Okay,
it.
just
He
so
called
you
it a
know.
nickname. That's how he got us. He jeffed us
Yeah,
again.
he jeffed us.
I said a nickname. You want to know what the nickname was?
Yeah, I can't wait. Go
Blitz Buggy.
I'm done.
Blitz
Jeff.
Buggy.
Jeff. Jeff.
Hey, you know what? Neil won by a lot. That's all I'm gonna say.
The Blitz Buggy?
That's not a thing.
I've never heard of the Blitz Buggy a day in my life.
no.
I want to. You know what? I mean,
Recount.
Recount.
Recount says Neil still won.
There's a hanging Chad somewhere.
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I was a lot of fun. And in true fashion,
You know
there
what?
was, some
I totally
obscurities there.
forgot. I had a transition prepared.
Oh, that's good.
Look how proud he is.
Do you know the names of the
Then it went-
U.S.
then
presidents?
it went to crap.
Then it went to crap. And then it went to pot.
You had to get the Animaniacs in
He
there.
had to get the
The
Animaniacs in
president's
there.
song. I thought it was fitting.
Jeffrey.
Wow.
I love how you were so excited. You're like, oh, it's so good.
And
Oh, that's what that is.
Wow. I just I'm still over here reveling in your appropriate response about Johnson. Is there a picture out there of these? I mean,
I was just off the year.
Were you going off the year?
he
That's still
said-
impressive.
He said the year, and I'm like, well,
I
that's
said
after
65. Yeah.
after the incident.
Oh, and you're so familiar with the incident that
Then I was like, oh, well, then he was his VP, so that automatically makes him, because he was sworn in that day.
I just think it's interesting because as a automotive, a purveyor of the automotive history, and I love history, and honestly, I do love the democratic process and honestly American politics. The idea that I've seen most of these pictures because they've been used as marketing propaganda, especially from a person who likes the Jeep world. But I cannot picture.
never seen that
I
picture.
can't. Yeah, I can't picture any red, white, and blue Jeeps dressed up in
Well, it would have to
pageantry.
be CJ5s.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that
because
point.
all you have are 5s and 6s, but then you do have Gladiators and you have the Willys trucks and wagons.
That's true.
And I know that this is kind of the wrong way where my head went, but we were talking about the modified vehicles, my brain immediately went to like Jeep wagons, which I understand were called Willys at that time. So I know. I guess that was the only relative piece that.
That's also during the 715 era, wouldn't be?
65 had the 715s, right?
Yeah.
And then the ambulance.
So somebody should look that up and let us know which Jeeps it was and where's the picture.
Yeah, there's got to be a picture
of it.
Obviously, I'm still obsessed on my Bush senior obsession with the Jeep. Obviously, I've entirely made that up.
Somebody needs to find that.
I'm telling you, they had like a Ford truck or something.
Yeah, well, it
was a Bronco. Yeah.
My bad. So I don't know why that's stuck in my brain, but and of course the Chrysler transition, and I don't, as a person who had an 87 and who loves 86 CJs and has by technicality had one or two of those through the business, it's fascinating. There was some absolute geopolitical things happening at that time because we were really, this is before NAFTA was signed into play, and it is the real big reach across the pond because we've got Renault, kind of getting involved in global car manufacturing with Chrysler. And what's fascinating, a lot of people may or may not totally get where Renault, but I'm going to make the association, and I'm sure that there's a historian or a sociologist out there who would be, find this contentious. But the Renault family might as well be the Kennedys, right? And the fact that, or if the Fords were still a powerhouse of sorts, that Renault was. I maybe I dare go as far as say the Rockefellers, and to say that at that time Renault was a global 1%er, and they still are, as far as I'm concerned. They're just quiet about it, and they're still involved at the board level of Stellantis, directionary board level. So it's interesting to me because I personally believe there was more going on in 87 than when that Chrysler acquisition happened on AMC.
So Fred just chimed into the comments and he said 73 Super Jeep, white, red, blue.
Yeah, that was a beautiful spirit of Americana.
But it's too late, too new for the
Johnson.
For the Johnson.
Yeah. That was really just America was feeling very patriotic.
Yes.
And Jeep as a brand.
Well, we had the bicentennial.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of things going on.
Bicentennial coming up.
Right.
But Jeep as a brand was falling apart, and they had no parts left. And so...
and how can we make it better? Let's do a sticker package.
Let's make it red, white, and blue, and we'll sell some Jeeps.
And they're still doing that.
And they kind of did, They marketed effectively.
I could just see you guys in the boardroom like, well, guys, I'm sorry, we don't have anything new to add, but, maybe we can mix some new colors up and put some different stickers on. Anybody got some fancy names we could add on to this vehicle?
Well, guys, we really screwed the pooch on selling Jeeps this year. So... Let's donate $1 million to Inauguration, and let's throw some new colors out there.
Yes,
that'll make the consumer happy again.
Yes, and let's advertise.
Let's change
more.
the metallic quantity in the paint so it looks a little bit different.
Just slightly change the blue so there will be an argument in 15 to 20 years.
Yes,
when somebody's trying to repaint their, well, that's not the correct blue. It's a shade off.
It's a shade off. We should have like kind of our worst playbook that we think the auto manufacturers have done historically. That's certainly Jeep's one. Well, sales are in the toilet. Let's go with Americana.
Yes.
If
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, it's been fun.
It has been fun.
We should subscribe, join our Patreon.
Yep.
There's some good content
we
going
thank
up on
you
there.
all for following along, watching live with us, jumping in the comments.
And obviously, next time I need to study.
Wow. I don't know.
In your
pulled out some
defense,
pretty impressive
you have
things.
never lost trivia to Neil, and this time you did. So
yeah,
Commander and Jeep Neil did his research and did his homework and talked to
I
had 2
didn't.
study sessions.
See, at the end, I still come out smelling like poo. Look at me.
Commander in Jeep, you won.
I'll take the title. Well, it's never mind. You know what? I've got to close this one out, folks. I hope that this day means something to you, and you go out and spread a little positivity in the world, and share with people in a kind of a forward progress, kind of in a manner in which MLK Jr. Kind of wanted for all of humanity. Until then, Jeep on.
Jeep on.
Jeep on.
Okay.
I don't
So
think he did that on purpose.
No.
Paul.
That was perfect.
I have been dying to share with you guys just to round out my weekend, right? Because I came in and per the usual, my Monday was, despite the fact that my family's not even going to school today, federally recognized holiday, it's still just I needed one more day on my weekend, right? And here it's just kind of rounds it out why. So we were, as of 10 weeks ago, supposed to be in Florida for PodCon.
Yeah.
Podfest.
Yep.
We had received an invitation. Even our our host site had even gone through the process, reviewed our information, and sponsored us tickets because of circumstances. And so that is awesome. But unfortunately, it was not in the cards for us based on the general oversight of the business, projects lingering, things that we need to produce here, boots on the ground for our listeners, for our followers, and certainly for our customers, Jeeps in-house. So when my cousin had reached out to me a couple weeks ago and invited me to my cousin's birthday party. Now, here's what's valuable. So when I say my cousin, his name's Derek for our listeners. And Derek and Scott were among the first automotive friends who became paid to do SFJ stuff, right? And so Derek was there with me in the very
With the chickens,
right? In the very dawn of the Jeep empire that
we were there with the
now,
clucking.
Yes. There's now SFJ 4x4, right? And we went through the trenches together, and he was always a hot rod guy. He actually went to UTI in Chicago, right? That's who's in Chicago, University Technical Institute.
I didn't think it was Chicago, but it doesn't matter.
He went to automotive school.
You're telling the story. Who needs facts?
Well, yeah. I'm gonna just keep going.
That's what Jeff does.
Somebody's not butthurt about their presidential trivia at all.
Right?
So he went to I really think it was UTI in Chicago. I know that he went to automotive school in Chicago. He had a really gnarly
UTI
Camaro.
is a bad name
It
for
is.
college.
It is. But they used to advertise on like Tennessee National News Network, TNN's, the Power Hour, and all that kind of stuff. And he and his young bride, who's actually my bloodline cousin, who I grew up always close with, and she's actually like my third or fourth cousin, but we always treated each other like first cousin type of deals. And we lived in close proximity, and she dated Derek, and we were all young, motorheads in our teens. He actually had built a beautiful late 80s YJ when I had my YJ. So we had these dueling YJs, and his, because of a plug catalytic converter, burnt down in the technical schools. We were teenagers. His burnt down in the tech school's parking lot because of the plug catalytic converter. Anyways, so he has recently reopened his automotive pursuits. And so he's at a point in his life where he wants to make this a bigger deal, much more part of his life. He and I had started some stuff years ago, and he had done some stuff in a part-time capacity. And so, I wish them the best, in the hot rods and undercoating and, classic car market. So he invites me to my cousin Michelle's birthday party, my actual bloodline cousin, whom I love dearly. And I said, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm going to be out of town, but I'll see if something changes, you know, I'll be there. So we're not out of town, right? But let's be honest, in one ear, out the other, because we were supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So he hits me up on Friday night, and he's like, hey, are you still coming? Because we had a brief interaction, and I was like, yeah, I still might have one other iron in the fire. You know, didn't know whether we were going to visit family in Pittsburgh because of the transition time, da-da-da-da. And he's like, all right, let me know. And I was like, all right, one other little hiccup to address. Once it's out of the way, I'll be there. I talked to Jen. We clear our schedule. It's now 6:40-ish on Friday night. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to be there. I'm excited.
I'm all in.
I'm all in, right? I never get a text back from him. Okay, you know, whatever. I mean, it's guys and we're texting. It's 2025. Who cares, right?
Yep.
So, you know, Friday comes and goes. Saturday comes and goes. I'm out working at the house. I race home Saturday afternoon. I had already communicated with my family accordingly. My kids are ready. They're showered. They put on their clothes. We put on our smell good. I spike up the faux hawk. We grab, you know, Jennifer's got her hair and her makeup done. We're actually decently on time, right? We have a card. We have all the appropriate accoutrements.
Shopping has happened beforehand.
Right? Filled out the card.
Wow.
This is
Next level for Simpsons.
next level for Simpsons.
So there's no party.
So we pull in. Oh, because cousin Derek had already told me that it was a surprise party. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right. I'm like, hey, it's a surprise party.
Go
right?
on the sly.
So we got to do this on the sly, and so we pull in, and there's no vehicles in the parking lot.
Surprise.
And I'm like, oh crap. And Jen's like, you better not ruin this surprise. Maybe they lied to you about what time it is. You know what I mean? Like, well, okay, that's fitting. You know?
Yeah, that's
and I'm
fair.
looking
That's
around,
happened before.
And I'm looking around. I'm looking for any like foot traffic through the snow or anything like that. And again, this is just how my weekend is going at this point. And this is just the icing on the cake, because we pull in and I'm looking around and like, so I shut my lights off as I'm creeping down their driveway into the parking lot, you know? It's also important to know that Derek is a local sheriff. So that's maybe not the person you want to creep around his property.
Yeah, it's fair.
But I'm creeping down the parking lot. Sheriff's like, you better not ruin this surprise, you know? And so I like pull in and I stop, you know, in an awkward space, right? I would totally be right now if it was one of the Facebook gossip groups, people would be like, what? There is a creepy car, because I'm trying to get my bearings at this point.
Yeah.
And go, are we supposed to be parking somewhere else? Was there more? Because I didn't follow up, was, you know, whatever, right? Then all of a sudden I see people poke their head out of the shop, because it was in their shop building. They poke their head out and they're like, it's giving me the side eye. And I'm like, oh God, you know, and Jennifer's like, you better not ruin this. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like jump out of the Jeep. And they were like, should we all get out? And I was like, nope, stay here. I'm gonna jump out. I'm gonna go check on it, right? The party was Friday night.
Oh.
The party, I was a day off.
Oh.
The party was, and it's in the message. It had the date.
Yeah.
This is why starting my day today, I needed one more day to the weekend, because quite frankly, I've just been a day behind. It was clearly marked in the original text message to me, the date and time. And so we showed up and they were like, oh, do you want to get the kids out?
So when you replied, I'm all in, I'll be there.
He was literally
in surprise mode.
He was in surprise mode.
So he couldn't answer.
And they don't have signal because it's a metal shop, you know, similar to ours, and they don't have signal in the building because they don't have Wi-Fi and so on and so forth. And no, he was there. He was in surprise mode. They were getting ready, and he was like, "Hey, are you coming to the party like right now?" And I was like, "You could have thrown me a bone and been like, hey, where are you? Since you said you were all in." But he's like, "Oh, sorry, I never went back out of the building. We don't have signal. We don't have Wi-Fi and da da da." And I was like, "Holy crap!" Like, I literally showed up an entirety of a day late to a party.
And that's where the saying, a day late and dollar short comes from.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that the darn truth?
That's funny.
So that was, without question, how my weekend went. That is just it in a full and complete nutshell. I tried doing 18 different things, and all of them were a day late and a dollar short in that manner. It was not the normal Neil Simpson. I mean, I once again attempted to do 1,001 things.
I'm just going to congratulate you on having everything else right.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
You did a good job trying.
I
A
tried.
for effort.
Oh my God, not the darn truth.
See, on the flip side, we did a normal Browns Sunday where my wife's like, hey, there's this.
You lost the game?
No.
Ah! Talk about Buffalo in the last drive
my
of last
God.
night. They looked like the Browns. Did they just forget to come out on the field for that last drive? Just let the Ravens just run all over them? It was a sports ball game last night, Scott. I don't expect
I
you to
vaguely
know.
heard about something.
How
Yeah.
about the Lions? Let's talk about the Lions.
I just number 1 seed and they just got spanked. Whatever.
Oh, they absolutely got like holy crap.
Yeah. All right.
That shouldn't happen.
All right. What did you do on the not Cleveland Browns,
The Scott Browns.
the Scott Browns,
Yes.
Amy Browns?
So my wife said, hey, there's this interesting bookstore that's a little over an hour away. Why don't we go? Okay.
Oh,
So we all pile in the Jeep
Nice.
on Sunday, and we get to about 271-90 split, and the weather finally, it said weather expected,
yeah. Weather advisory.
weather advisory, and I'm like, it's fine. And then suddenly, poosh, snow.
You found it. You
I was
went
like-
to go find it, is what you're saying.
So whatever, we're in a Jeep. So we finally get to our destination. It wasn't that bad. Person was there also driving a Jeep. So we're like, this is perfect.
Kindred spirits.
Nobody's in the store. We get to kind of roam around and do us. So went ahead and did that. We ended up accidentally, that was pretty close to Kent. So we went over to another shop that we like in Kent that we have gone to before. And then I'm like,
Just so you know, that bookstore was not a little over an hour, and that's just, if you were remotely near Kent, Ohio.
this is a normal Brown trip.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's why we're friends.
Yep.
So then I'm like, well, we're this far. We might as well just go ahead and go to Summit.
Of course.
Oh, why not?
We're this far. Let's run to, I don't know, Tennessee, guys.
This is why we're all friends.
So we go ahead and go to Summit. They moved their scratch and dent. It was grave injustice. But it made me think of you. They had a Renault keychain
No.
on markdown.
Of course it was
'Cause
marked out.
nobody wants it.
Nobody actually wants
I
that.
thought about buying it for you, but
You should have thrown me a bone. I might have actually wanted it.
I think it was like $1.
If it was $1, I would have bought it. I would have wanted it.
So we then went to an antique mall and accidentally bought like 25 canning jars because they were on 75% off.
Of course you did. God bless it. Did you go to the antique mall just there? Just
In Ravenna.
the one that's right on on 80 there? Or
On
whatever?
76, yeah.
76?
Yeah,
You love that one.
we do. So then we ended up coming home.
Do you remember the time we took Greg there?
He hated it.
He hated it.
Terrible.
He hated going to that antique mall.
Yes. But yeah, it was pretty funny. And I got a little old school MB Jeep for $1. Again,
Nice.
75% off. Everything this guy had, he had 2 showcases in one booth. Everything was 75 off. He had stacks of hubcaps, waist tall. No
Oh,
joke.
you do love hubcaps.
I didn't buy any hubcaps though.
Oh, well, Amy really loves hubcaps.
Well,
Really
we
is-
do. We
Okay.
do. Probably could have.
You
got a
love
hubcap.
bell housings. She loves
Oh,
hubcaps.
how about there was a reproduction?
Folks, I want to reiterate that for if anybody who's stayed on long enough to listen, Scott
I collected.
loves bell housings.
I used to collect them.
and his wife loves
Such a big object. Just,
hubcaps.
Like
I sold them all off though.
at least hubcaps you could just put up on a wall or something. I
Which we have
guess.
many of.
But
Jeff, he had bell housings hung on
I
his
don't
wall.
understand. They're so big.
He made room for them.
They had a returned Jeep AMC bell housing like I used to collect at Summit and the scratch and dent, but it was still 125. I was like, nope.
Nope, too
Too
much.
much, too
I'm
much.
not doing that.
Did he have a custom china cabinet with all the bell housings?
No.
With as much furniture as they've now collected, he could.
I know.
Oh,
Right?
and the other thing we did on Saturday is we moved everything in the front room and painted half the front room
Oh, is that all?
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Holy cow!
and then put everything back.
Fantastic.
Jeez. Yeah,
Jeffrey?
my weekend was so there's two major things I want to talk about. One, it was just mostly doing nonprofit stuff, and in that process, the computer that I used to do the editing of our show was just running. It's been running slow for a while, but it's been just mind-numbing slow lately,
Mm-hmm.
and it was driving me nuts. And so I did some quick digging. I found out that it's an iMac. I found out that iMac has upgradable RAM.
Mm.
So I'm like, well, I wonder how much
kinda
RAM I'm
cool.
actually using. And I look at the RAM, and it's just bright red on the memory
Sure.
chart. I'm like,
Yep.
huh, well, maybe that's the problem.
Right.
So then I looked into that, found out that literally there's a little trap door in the back of the display because it's an all-in-one. There's a little trap door you pop open, switch out the RAM cards, and you're good to go.
Oh, okay.
So I ordered some 64 gig RAM. Now that I know that I had only 8 gig RAM.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So being a multitasker and using as many windows and screens and processors that I do,
Yes.
it's no wonder it was running so slow.
Yes.
So that was the one big thing. But we also took the kids to the Great Lakes Science Center this past Wednesday.
Yes, you did.
And that was a really fun experience. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because they have a huge display for NASA and engines, the rockets and stuff like that. So the kids got to play around with that. They had some live simulators that they could actually try to fly the spacecrafts and land them.
Sure.
It was really fun.
How busy was it since it was Wednesday?
It was dead.
Yeah.
There was a couple schools there. So at one point, as the schools moved to where we were at, it got real busy. We just moved on.
Sure.
Not a big deal. But we also, the membership package that her parents bought us has unlimited IMAX.
Yes.
So we got to go watch two IMAX movies. That was really fun. What I did learn about the Science Center is that you can only get lunch during a very specific time.
Okay.
So we were upstairs playing in all the astronaut stuff, and we're like, all right, let's go get lunch before we go to
Their
the movies.
cafeteria time. Yes.
Their cafeteria time closed 15 minutes before we got there.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's it. It was. You want to know what time that was?
What time is that?
2 o'clock.
Oh.
They shut it at 2 o'clock.
Yep.
I was like, huh. So we.
Probably like 11 to 2 or something.
Yeah.
they
So
were
then we're like, all right, cool. We'll just get some snacks out of the vending machine to hold us over. We'll go up and we'll get concessions as we go into the movie. Now, concessions was closed too.
What?
Yep.
No eating happens after 2 o'clock, obviously.
I guess.
I thought for sure they'd at least have the concessions at the IMAX.
No, you know who was in the theater with us in the IMAX?
Who was that?
Nobody.
It said we're not open to concessions for you.
You know what is more ridiculous? Is you have to buy the movie passes. In our case, they're free, so you just go over and you say you want the movie passes. They give them to you.
Sure.
But if you're a non-member or a lower member, you have to pay for those passes. I would have been irate if I would have paid for those passes. There was nobody at the theater. You just walked in, sat down, and the movie came on. So we did 2 movies. The first one was Desert Elephants. It was a really cool learning movie. The next one was Superpower Dogs. And it was about dogs and their super abilities that they have over humans.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. Second movie, there was another family that joined us, and they sat all the way across in a different section.
They probably didn't pay though.
Well, probably not. There was nobody there to check you. They didn't care. It was so dead. You know, I'm sure if it's a busier day or something.
Yeah.
But it was super fun. Can't wait to go back with the kids and try to get more exhibits.